Let's be real. If you've ever tried to manage more than one YouTube channel from the same computer, you know it can get messy fast. It feels like you're constantly fighting your browser, and going from total chaos to actually being in control seems impossible. But what if there was a clear, step-by-step way to fix it for good? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Does this look familiar? You're trying to keep your personal brand, your main business channel, and maybe that new passion project completely separate, but your browser just isn't cooperating? Trust me, you are not alone in this. It's probably one of the biggest headaches for creators and agencies out there. And this goes way beyond just being annoying, right? Have you ever accidentally dropped a comment from your professional business account on some random video? Or even worse, posted a client's video to your own channel? Whoops! These little mistakes can seriously compromise your brand and just create a ton of cleanup work. It's a real problem that we need to solve. So here's our game plan for getting everything organized. We're going to start with the absolute basics, the tools Google already gives you. Then we'll level up to using browser profiles and extensions for a bit more power. And finally, we'll dive into the pro-level cloud solutions for ultimate control. By the end of this, you'll have a complete toolkit to finally master your workflow. So why do we even put ourselves through all this hassle? The answer is pretty simple. It's all about growth. Managing multiple channels lets you target completely different audiences. You can experiment with new kinds of content, all while keeping your projects nice and separate. For any serious creator or agency, it's a necessary strategic move. All right, so where do we begin? Well, the best place to start is right inside YouTube itself. Google gives you some free built-in tools that are the perfect first step for getting organized. No extra software, no cost, it's your ground floor. Okay, this breaks down your two main options perfectly. You've got the Google Account Switcher, which is kind of like having different keys to the same house. It's great for quickly toggling between your different logins. Then you have brand accounts, which are more like a super organized closet. Multiple channels, all neatly arranged under one main identity. Both are good starting points, but you gotta notice that key limitation at the bottom. The isolation between them is low. That's a big deal. So, when you need to build some higher walls between your accounts, you graduate to browser profiles. This is all about creating completely separate, totally self-contained digital workspaces, right there inside your web browser. And this shows just how ridiculously simple it is to do in a browser like Chrome. You literally just pop open your settings, click to add a new profile, and you can even give it its own icon and color. Now, each profile you create has its own cookies, its own history, its own logins. This means you can have your work channel open in one window and your hobby channel in another with absolutely zero risk of them getting mixed up. This is a total game changer for organization. And hey, it's not just a Chrome thing. If you're a Firefox user, there's a fantastic extension called multi-account containers. It lets you color code your tabs and basically lock each session in its own little box. And Microsoft Edge has a very similar profile feature that works super smoothly, especially if you're already in that whole Windows world. All right, let's kick it up another notch. For those of you who want a little more automation, browser extensions can act like quick power-ups for your workflow, adding specific features that just aren't there by default. You know, extensions like SessionBox or PocketTube can be incredibly convenient for things like automating account switching or managing a ton of subscriptions. But, and this is a big but, there's always a trade-off. All that convenience can come at a cost. Loading up on too many extensions can really slow down your browser, and you have to stay on top of updates to keep them secure. Okay, now for the serious creators, the agencies, or really anyone who needs the ultimate no-compromise solution. We're now entering the pro level, dedicated cloud platforms built for maximum security, privacy, and scalability. So let's take a look at an example, a tool called Send.win. What platforms like this do is create completely sandboxed browsing sessions. Think of it like this. Each channel you manage gets to live in its own unique digital bubble. There is absolutely no shared cookie data, no data leaks, nothing crossing between them. It is the very definition of total isolation. And this is where these platforms really start to pull away from the pack. Because they're cloud-based, your sessions can sync across all your devices. They often have built-in proxy support, which is amazing if you want to test how your content looks in different countries. And for teams, you can share access securely without ever having to share a password. That's huge. And getting set up with these tools is usually super straightforward. You just create a new isolated session for each channel, name it something obvious like Client A's channel, and then launch it. You just repeat that process for every account, and suddenly you have a secure, organized command center for your entire YouTube operation. Now, in terms of cost, these services usually have different tiers. You'll often find a plan that's perfect for a solo creator, and then team-based plans that add really crucial collaboration and sharing features, which makes delegating work an absolute breeze. Okay, so we've got the tools, but having the right tool is only half the battle. True mastery comes from building smart strategies around them. This is all about creating good habits for organization, for security, and for sustainable growth. And a huge part of a smart workflow is tracking your numbers for each channel separately. This table shows the vitals you should be keeping an eye on for every single one of your isolated accounts. Are you seeing that steady subscriber growth on your new project? Is the view time on your main channel hitting that 50% mark? Tracking these metrics individually is the only way to really know what's working and where. And please, I can't stress this enough. Don't forget about security. This is not optional. Every single one of your accounts needs its own strong, unique password and two-factor authentication. No excuses. And you should be regularly checking who has access to your channels, especially if you're working with a team. These habits are your best defense against disaster. Let me tell you about a real-world example. We'll call her Alex. So Alex was juggling a beauty channel, a travel channel, and a fashion channel. It was a mess. By using an isolation tool, she could test out different content ideas freely and target each audience with precision. And the result? Her total views shot up, all because she got rid of the operational chaos and could finally focus purely on creating great content. So here's the big takeaway from all of this. Your path to mastering this is all about picking the right solution for where you are right now. Start with the simple Google tools. When you need more separation, graduate to browser profiles. And when you're ready to really scale things up, embrace a professional cloud solution. It's a journey, not a race. So there you have it. You now have a full spectrum of tools, from the simple and free to the incredibly powerful and professional. The operational hurdles that were holding you back, they're gone. So the only real question left is, what are you going to create?